The only way to do something in depth is to work hard. The moment you start being in love with what you're doing and thinking it's beautiful or rich, then you're in danger. What you wear is how you present yourself to the world, especially today when human contacts are so quick. Fashion is instant language. I was a feminist in the 60s, and can you imagine? The worst thing I could have done was to be in fashion. It was the most uncomfortable position. The trouble is, most people are not so generous. Everybody wants love for themselves. I hear this all the time from the women I work with. I hear them say, I want. I never hear them saying what they want to give. I don't believe in people who think that clothes are not important. I love uniforms because they allow you to hide. No one knows what you are thinking, so it's a very appropriate and correct way to be yourself. Women have the stress of being beautiful, of age and youth. Men don't have all that. And with women, that stress causes a lot of mistakes and bad choices, a lot of not being their true self. One's life and passion may be elsewhere, but New York is where you prove if what you think in theory makes sense in life. My family was too serious. They didn't take care of me. It was a very serious and severe life. Not severe in a bad way, just boring, like totally neutral. I felt no emotion. I respect my work, but also I think it's very superficial. It's horrible when people are only interested in buying labels because it doesn't bring them the happiness they think it will. I like to be useful to people. I always loved aesthetics, not particularly fashion, but an idea of beauty. I love clothes. Maybe I can say I don't love fashion, but I love clothes completely. Nostalgia is a very complicated subject for me. I'm attracted by nostalgia, but I refuse it intellectually. I was a communist, but being left-wing was fashionable. I was no different from thousands of middle-class kids. What interests me most is when a work of art is no longer just an object, but also touches reality and life. Craziness in a shoe is great. You can have much more freedom. You can exaggerate and it doesn't feel stupid. But to have too much craziness near your face, that would just feel weird. Women always try to tame themselves as they get older, but the ones who look best are often a bit wilder. I'm not interested in how people dress. Of course, I recognize if somebody elegant, but fashion doesn't interest me. To have to be sexy, that I hate. To be outrageously sexy, that I love. Men are always much more dignified than most women. Fashion fosters cliches of beauty, but I want to tear them apart. It's still feminine, but not in a romantic way. It's all about masculine and feminine and being strong. I think more and more, if you live in the current world and live internationally, it's all a mix of interests. And the same people who are interested in fashion are also interested in movies, art, and culture. I want to confront myself. I challenge and doubt myself. Basically, what I don't like is to get bored. Basically, I'm trying to make men more sensitive and women stronger. For me, art is about learning and about living with people. It's alive. My learning process is by eye alone. It's not at all scientific. Now, I'm not saying I'm fashionable, but there are sociological interests that matter to me. Things that are theoretical, political, intellectual, and also concerned with vanity and beauty that we all think about, but that I try to mix up and translate into fashion. I always believe in doing new things and using new materials that I have never used or that I didn't like for a long time. The older I get, the more I prefer to talk to old people or kids. I don't believe that anyone is not bothered by critics. I think that everybody cares. You want to be understood by the sophisticated few, but you also have to be more loud somehow. Otherwise, your message doesn't go through. I am interested in communicating with the world by selling to many people. I want to make clothes that are beautiful, of course, but also clothes that are interesting and considered and intelligent and not out of place. Seduction is a matter of feelings and people opening themselves. I don't think it's something tricky. it's being human. And everybody is seduced by something different. I hate the idea that you shouldn't wear something just because you're a certain age. I'm not interested in types. I'm interested in archetypes. We will always buy clothes because they let us live our dreams. Fashion is a little help in the life of a person, but very little. After all, if you have a serious drama, who cares about the clothes? The fashion world is very active and generous, despite the fact that it is not very well respected, or at least not as much as it should be. People ask me, how can I be stylish? How can I be elegant, and what can I wear? My only answer is study. You have to learn. Women often don't want to admit that they like fashion, and yet fashion enthralls everyone, from the taxi driver to the mega intellectual. I have often asked myself why this is. I don't know the answer. With women, the more unhappy they are, the more undressed they are. What people sometimes interpret as quirky is my attempt to subvert the concept of luxury by introducing elements that are considered ordinary or commonplace. If you ask, do you like strong men or weak men? I'd say, I like who I like. Clothes can be important. I am learning this. For instance, often when I design and I wonder, what is the point? I think of someone having a bad time in their life. I like getting older and being the person who people ask for help. You cannot do something just for the money. You have to do things you believe in, and eventually you will make money. Miucciaprada, born Maria Bianchi on May 10, 1949, in Milan. She took the name Miucciaprada in the 1980s after being adopted by an aunt. Her biological parents were Luigi Bianchi and Luisa Prada. She has two older siblings, Albert and Marina. After attending Liceo Classico Berchet High School in Milan, Prada went to the University of Milan, where she graduated with a degree in political science in 1971, while on the same time studying acting at the Piccolo Teatro in Milan. In 1978, she subsequently obtained a PhD in political science from the same university. MIUCCIA is an Italian billionaire fashion designer and businesswoman. She is the head designer of Prada and the founder of its subsidiary MIUCCIA. As of October 2021, Forbes estimated her net worth at $4.8 billion. In August 2021, Bloomberg estimated her net worth to be $6.6 billion, ranking 430th in the world. The youngest granddaughter of Mario Prada, Miucciaprada took over the family-owned luxury goods manufacturer in 1978. Since then, the company has acquired Jill Sander, Helmut Lang, and Shoemaker Church & Co. In 2002, Prada opened her own contemporary art museum. Prada's first successful handbag design was in 1985. It was a line of black, finely woven nylon handbags. By 1989, she designed and introduced her first women's ready-to-wear collection. In 1995, she launched her first menswear line. The MIUCCIA line was introduced in 1992 as a less expensive women's wear line inspired by her personal wardrobe. She named it after her own nickname, Miu Miu. In March 2013, Prada was named one of the 50 best dressed over 50s by Forbes. The magazine listed her as the 75th most powerful woman in the world in 2014, when she had an estimated net worth of $11.1 billion.